This episode of Chasing Time is brought to you by Coastal Maine Botanical Gardens.
Welcome to Chasing Time. I'm Tim Lewis, and today I'm chasing time with Amanda Pleau, Marketing and Communications Manager at Maine Maritime Museum in Bath, Maine. Welcome to my show, Amanda.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for being here today, Tim. We're so lucky to have you, and welcome. Have you been here before?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's a great museum.
Excellent. Well, I can't wait to talk all about everything that we have going on here.
So let's start by looking back at the history of the museum, when it started, and names of the people that put this process in motion.
Yeah, well, thank you for asking about the founding of the museum. We started in 1962 as the Bath Marine Historical Society. A number of individuals got together to really protect and preserve the shipbuilding history of Bath. We're known as the city of ships, and there's a really important legacy there. One of the most important stakeholders was a local physician named Dr. Charlie Burden, and he was largely responsible for the founding of the museum's collection. He had a large personal collection that he donated here, and he was very well known around town and really helped sort of steward and shepherd the museum in its infancy to become this world-class institution that we are today.
And it is, too. So tell me about the early days of shipbuilding here at this site and why it's such a perfect location for shipbuilding.
Yeah, so Bath's shipbuilding history is really sort of a product of this area of the Kennebec River being really perfectly situated in terms of the landscaping and the natural resources. So first and foremost, the slope of the Kennebec where it is perfect for launching ships. It's got this really sort of nice natural sort of way to slip the ships in. There was an abundance of natural resources at the beginning of Maine shipbuilding, wooden shipbuilding history. A lot of wood, obviously, was forested. And as a result of that industry, Maine's economy really blew up and Maine became global, and Maine ships were sort of everywhere all around the world carrying goods. Here on this site, we have the Percy and Small Shipyard, which operated sort of towards the end of the heyday of wooden shipbuilding, sort of just as Bath Iron Works was getting started. And what's special about the Percy and Small Shipyard is that they made the largest wooden schooners in the world.
Wow.
And it was really kind of a get-rich-quick scheme. They built these huge schooners to ship coal. And one of the benefits of shipping coal for the manufacturing at the Industrial Revolution is that they really only needed wind power. And wind power is the low cost of free.
Yes.
So they had these very small crews going out on these very big ships, and they made a lot of money. So we have here on site the last remaining wooden shipyard where large wooden ships were built. All of the buildings are intact, so you can go through the process and see what it was like for all of those workers building these great schooners. So that's kind of a little bit of the history in a nutshell, and also part of what's so special about this historic site as well.
So that created jobs too, didn't it?
A lot of jobs. So Bath is the city of ships. It's still the city of ships. We're still shipbuilding. We have Bath Iron Works just up the river from us, our little neighbor there. Not so little, our neighbor. Bath was actually at one point the fourth busiest port in the eastern seaboard.
Really?
It was New York, Philadelphia, Portland, and then Bath. Can you even imagine our little city here? Our cool little city? And so, shipbuilding had this incredible impact on the local economy, and all of the housing that we have here today was a result of shipbuilding workers coming in and doing that. And actually, when Percy and Small were in operation towards the end of the shipbuilding heyday, one of the things that they benefited from was that a lot of the other shipyards that had been in operation started closing because because iron shipbuilding was sort of coming into play, and those ships were sturdier and lasted longer. So their workforce was highly experienced, and so they really benefited from that workforce at the time.
Yeah, wow. Give me some facts about the Watercraft Restoration Center.
So we have the historic shipbuilding here, and then we have the shipbuilding that's up the river at Bath Iron Works. We also have a watercraft collection here at Maine Maritime Museum, where we have a lot of small historic, we call them watercraft, others may call them boats. We also refer to them as vessels. And so we have a program for middle school students where they are making skiffs in our Discovery Boat Building Center. And then 2 floors down, we have the newly opened Watercraft Restoration Center, which is actually a demonstration area where folks can come and see reproductions being made, restorations being made by our volunteers. And so it's really cool to get to see what working on some of those small watercrafts is like in real time. And one of the cool things about the Watercraft Restoration Center and many of the demonstration areas here at Maine Maritime Museum is that when you come here, you're not just passively looking at labels and looking at objects and ship portraits and ship models. There are actually people here that you can interact with and ask questions and spark your curiosity and learn a little bit. So it's really kind of a cool, fun thing that we have.
So it's a learning experience.
Oh, for sure. Whether it's the Watercraft Restoration Center, our working blacksmith shop, we have a ship launching demonstration, we have walking tours to give the history of the Percy and Small Shipyard. So there are a lot of ways to engage at Maine Maritime Museum.
The blacksmith shop, what can you tell us about that?
So the blacksmith shop is actually the only original building from the Percy and Small Shipyard that actually is not intact. It unfortunately burned down.
I see.
2 times. You can imagine it's a blacksmith shop. It was a wooden building. So now we have sort of this exhibition and demonstration center on the footprint of the original building. And not only do we have blacksmith demonstrations there throughout the summer, we're in the process of creating workshops, and we also have summer camp programs where we have middle school children in there doing blacksmithing as well. So it's really, really a special experience.
And that's a lost art.
Well, you can come here and experience it firsthand and
learn.
Yeah.
I like that. I see you have an exhibit in here, BIW, Building America's Navy. Can you give some highlights on that?
Yeah, so one of the wonderful things about Bath is that, you know, we have this long legacy of Bath Iron Works here. Bath Iron Works has been here since before cars were invented. So a lot of people have connections to Bath Iron Works either through their time at the Navy or through their time working on ships, or their family worked on ships. So we have this exhibit dedicated to the history of Bath Iron Works, and even a little bit about what is happening there now and some of the updates to the ongoing operations that they have. And it's really kind of a special way to learn about Bath Iron Works because it's a secure facility. It's closed to the public.
Yes.
You can do some research online, but it's not as though you can walk up to Bath Iron Works and knock on the door and ask for a tour.
That's true.
So we're really thrilled to have this exhibit, to be able to give people the opportunity to take a trip down memory lane. And we often hear from people who served on various ships and destroyers built at Bath Iron Works. And then we also have the guided tour, the Bath Iron Works story by land and sea, in which we start in the gallery with a tour guide, and they go through the exhibit and sort of give a mini lecture. And then they hop on the City of Bath trolley and do a little tour around downtown Bath and sort of drive by the facility and give some historical context for that rich shipbuilding history of Bath that we talked about. And then they hop on the boat, our tour boat Merry Meeting, and actually go by Bath Iron Works from the water. And getting to see the destroyers as they're being built from the water is really an incredible experience because you can't really understand the scope of these ships until you see them from the water. They're just, it's so massive and it's so stunning to just all of a sudden see them in practice. It's just really, really a special experience.
Yeah, I bet it is, yeah. Also, some information on the Donnell House.
As I mentioned, we have here the Percy and Small Shipyard, which is where, again, the largest wooden schooner in the world was built. But Percy and Small was one of just a number of different shipyards that were here along the Kennebec. Next door to the Percy and Small Shipyard was actually the Donnell Shipyard. And one of the things that was unique about the Donnell Shipyard was that the family that owned the shipyard actually lived sort of on site.
Oh.
A number of shipyard owners at the time actually lived in the north side of Bath, and that's where you see a lot of the larger homes.
Some beautiful homes.
Some beautiful homes, many of which are historically preserved. But the Donnells actually chose to live close to their shipyard to sort of be able to be close to the operations and oversee the operations. And we're actually lucky enough that we have their home here as part of our museum. So it's a house museum, and you can go in and see how the Donnells lived in the Victorian era. We have a lot of original items from the Donnell family themselves, including one of the weirdest portraits that we have on site. It's kind of freaky to look at, and I really love going in there. There's also a memorial wreath made out of human hair. It's really a...
Well, that's kind of unique, I guess.
It is.
Yeah.
And we also have tour guides in the house to be able to talk about the history of the family and sort of what was going on in the context of the local economy and history at the time. So it's really, really interesting. So that's the Donnell House, and it's open from mid-May to late October. So we're very excited.
I'm interested, too, also in the Lantern, a lighthouse experience.
Yeah, so up until now, we've been talking quite a bit about shipbuilding and sort of the Bath's relationship to shipbuilding. But there are so many iconic things about Maine, including the ways that these ships navigated before computers were invented and satellites were invented. And everyone knows about Maine's iconic lighthouses. You know, we've got Portland Head Light, probably one of the most famous lighthouses in the world. And what we have here at Maine Maritime Museum is a permanent exhibit called Into the Lantern, a lighthouse experience, where you kind of go in and get up close to an original Fresnel lens that was actually at Two Lights in Cape Elizabeth for a number of years, and sort of get to learn a little bit about what a lighthouse keeper's job was like, what the operation of the actual lens is like. And we have a lot of lighthouse enthusiasts who come here. There's actually a passport for the U.S. Lighthouse Society that's like, you get to go to a lighthouse and then you get a little stamp.
A stamp.
And we see from some lighthouse enthusiasts who are like really working to see as many lighthouses as they can, and it's really fun to get to experience their energy. But yeah, lighthouses are really something that people can nerd out about quite a bit.
It's a legacy of Maine.
Yeah, for sure.
It's true. And I was wondering if you could describe the, I think we talked a little about the boat building program here.
So I believe it's in its 30th year this year that we're working with public school, middle school students and homeschool students to build wooden skiffs. That program has 4 schools that we work with. South Bristol is the one that we've been working with the longest.
Really?
Yep. And they're just about to launch their skiffs here in a couple weeks. So it's a big celebration where the class comes together and everyone attends this sort of public boat launch where the kids get to actually get into the boat that they built and, you know, will it float? We hope. That's always the big question. The Discovery Boat Building program is an important STEM program, but it also teaches teamwork and social skills because the kids really need to work together to be able to build this boat collaboratively. And it's really cool that they get out of the classroom and come here and experience.
Yeah. What's the size of those skiffs? What do they range in length? Various lengths?
They're pretty small.
Yeah, but they float.
They do float.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's the real test.
Yeah, and it's fun. The kids, the students choose the colors of the boat. They choose the names of the boat, and we've had some some pretty silly names and colors over the years.
What's some of the names?
Bright pink boats, SpongeBob,
Oh, gee.
No Name. Just, it's really fun to hear what they come
Well,
up
that's
with.
unique. That's
Yeah.
good. I like that. Yeah.
And then, so each class builds 2 boats. They get one to give away as a fundraiser, and then we keep one to give away as a fundraiser. And so it's really also a way to sort of support the schools.
Yeah. It's a win-win.
Yeah, it really is.
I like that. Yeah. Now let's take a look at the building here. What year was the 3-story Maine Maritime History building opened?
So, as I mentioned, Maine Maritime Museum was founded in 1962. This building, which offered for the first time a year-round indoor climate-controlled experience, opened in 1989. We're here in the Maritime History Gallery. This has maybe not changed so much since then, but we'll go through a couple of areas of the museum with some exciting updates since then. And so yeah, we're here on Washington Street in Bath, just 1.2 miles south of Route 1.
Beautiful location.
Yeah.
Beautiful setting too. We have
Yeah,
the
thank you.
Kennebec and
Well, a couple years ago, we actually had a major renovation of our exterior, and it was called the First Impressions Project. We raised a few $1 million to really transform the entrance of the building.
Yeah.
We removed stairs to make it more accessible.
Right.
We planted a lot of pollinators and native plants to Maine. And we also transformed the sort of south end of our campus to be able to offer a public gathering space. So we have this little park that's kind of open to the public, and we see families come and have picnics here. We see people walking their dogs on the south end. And it's really just a beautiful, serene, quiet place
that's a nice
to come to.
venue to open up to people.
Yes, thank you.
Well,
it was not my idea, but thank you.
I'll give you credit anyway. What are some of the innovative, exciting new exhibits here that you like?
So I'm so glad that you asked, because there are 2 new exhibits that we have that opened within the last year and a half. We have Upon That Isle in Maine, the story and works of Chris Van Dusen, that has been exceedingly popular. Chris Van Dusen is a children's book author, famous for the Circus Ship book, the If I Built series books, and he's based in Camden. And so he's sort of a rock star in the Maine children's book author scene, which I didn't know when the exhibit opened, but we really take a deep dive into both his story of becoming an illustrator, how to actually tell a story, and then we have a lot of interactive elements for kids to come in and sort of play and learn to draw and learn about his process. And it's really fun. We've had actually folks come and fly in from the West Coast for this, from Connecticut. Kids are being pulled out of school to come see him read his books. It's really incredible and really exceeded our expectations. So we're really excited about the response to Upon That Isle in Maine, the story and works of Chris Van Dusen. And he's just been such a wonderful partner and so kind and generous with his time. He comes in and he signs a bunch of books for us. It's been fantastic.
So that exhibit will stay on for a while?
Yeah, so it's now an ongoing exhibit. We don't have a closing date yet. And one of the things I should for sure mention now is that children 17 and under receive free admission. So having a family-friendly exhibit really helped to get more families and more visitation here to the museum since it opened. So we're just so happy to have, activity in the galleries and to have people, posting about their experience at Chris Van Dusen.
I think that's great.
Yeah, it's really wonderful.
I like it. I looked inside. It's very colorful and bright. And,
yes.
I like that.
Very imaginative and whimsical.
Yeah.
And all of his stories are inspired by Maine or Maine stories. And so it's nice to dive into the tradition of being inspired by Maine.
I like that.
And then the other exhibit that we have right now is called Resounding, which is tonally completely different. Resounding actually utilizes recently uncovered items from our archive that dive into the undertold stories of Indigenous and Black maritime communities. And so we're telling new stories, and alongside those stories of resilience, we also have contemporary art celebrating the work of modern day Indigenous and Black artists. So it's really interesting to see the museum's interpretation being pushed further to broaden the scope of narratives that we have here. And so, of course, Chris Van Dusen is one way that we're expanding. We have, looking towards these various different communities. We've also done exhibits highlighting historic women photographers who, forgotten by history. We've also investigated sound of navigational objects that used to be a big part of Maine's maritime sound landscape, and it's been cool to see all of these different ways in which we're pushing the envelope. As you can see, we still have our ship models, we still have our ship portraits. Those are not going away anytime soon. But it's wonderful to have new reasons to welcome people here to the museum.
That opens new doors.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you describe the room that we're in now?
Yeah, so we're in the Shipbuilders Gallery, and we are sort of surrounded by the history of shipbuilding in all of its various different forms. We have, the square-rigged ships, we have the schooners, we have the destroyers, we have a little bit of everything in here. Yeah.
The ship models are really beautiful.
It's really, really interesting how intricate some of those pieces are.
It is.
And this is only about 10% of our collection is on display at any given time. So we have 20,000 objects in the basement.
Wow.
In the archive. I like to sometimes say, we're at capacity, because we do have so many. Some of the ship models that we have here in this gallery will actually be on display and reinterpreted later this summer alongside the Declaration of Independence visit. So we're working with Maine Historical Society, and we will have the Dunlap broadside Declaration of Independence here on view, and we'll have a few different ship models representing the history of shipbuilding and the pursuit of happiness and
I think that's a great idea. Yeah. On average, what is the annual guest attendance at the museum?
So we've kind of hovered, 50 to 55,000
really
over the last few years. This past year, in part due to the Chris Van Dusen exhibit, we did actually have a 40% increase. So that was up to 74,000 visitors last year. We're one of the top attractions in Maine. We also recently received a Growth and Leadership Award from the Maine Tourism.
Really?
At the Maine Tourism Conference. We were recently named the #1 maritime museum in the country by USA Today readers.
Wow, is that just this year?
Just this year, 2026. And so we're excited to see this growth, and we're obviously hoping that we can maintain the momentum.
Boy, that's quite an honor from USA.
It's a huge honor, and it was really a testament to how much this museum means to our community, because we won despite not having the biggest museum with the biggest operating budget.
Right.
We don't have the largest attendance of anyone on the list. We're actually in a relatively small community compared to some of the bigger urban areas in which some of the other museums were in. So it was really the fact that this museum means a lot to the people here that we were able to take it to the top.
That is a real honor.
Yeah.
What do you see in the future for the Maine Maritime Museum? What do you think?
Yeah, well, hopefully a lot more growth and development, a lot more new and interesting stories to be told. Hopefully there will always be something new and different to come and check out. This year, in addition to the temporary exhibits, Resounding and Upon That Isle in Maine, we're also updating some of our Percy and Small exhibits. So we have a new gallery right when you walk in that shows the building of the Wyoming, which was the largest wooden schooner. It looks fantastic. And then some of the buildings on the Percy and Small shipyard will actually receive new interpretation inside with interactive elements, multi-generational improvements so that kids and the young at heart will hopefully equally enjoy exploring those buildings. We've also last year partnered with Flight Deck Brewing out of Brunswick to open a pizza and beer garden here on site. So they will be opening May 28th for this season.
I see.
And so their presence here has also been a point of growth for us.
It's good.
And it's nice to be able to offer folks sort of that full day experience, you know, come in the morning, stay for lunch, hop on the boat. And so I hope that I hope that we are able to lean into more collaborations, more interesting storytelling, and really be able to make this a wonderful experience for our visitors.
I think you got some great plans there.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, can you give us some details on how and where patrons can buy tickets?
So we don't currently offer tickets in advance for general admission.
Okay.
But luckily, there's not usually a line or waiting when you come to the front desk. If you are planning on joining us for one of our Merry Meeting tours along the Kennebec River, you can purchase those tickets in advance through our website. In addition to children 17 and under receiving free admission, I'd also like to mention that many local public libraries offer passes to the museum that you can check out.
I see.
And then families receiving SNAP or food stamp benefits also receive free admission.
Oh, that's nice.
As well as active duty military families. So we're really also working on expanding ways to access the museum.
I think that's a good program.
Yeah, thank you.
That's nice. Amanda, are there any special events coming up that you would like to highlight?
Yeah, so we have a beer festival later in September, on September 12th. It's called Pints on the Pier. And so we have that sort of beer garden and live music. And it's just a wonderful evening on the Kennebec River with the sun setting.
Sounds good.
And we have food trucks and lawn games. It's really a wonderful experience.
I think that should draw a lot of interest. So.
I hope so, yes.
So I think we'll close the show for now. And a special thank you to Amanda Pleau for taking the time to talk with us and for allowing us to film here at the museum. And continued success at the Maine Maritime Museum. It's a true Maine gem. I always like to close on a positive high, and I think this one fits the setting perfect. Quote is by Brian Proctor. The sea, the open sea, the blue, the fresh, the forever free. I'm Tim Lewis, your host of Chasing Time, and a true Boothbay Harbor native, signing off from the Maine Maritime Museum in Bath, Maine. Till we meet again, my friends. Stay forever young.
This episode of Chasing Time is brought to you by Coastal Maine Botanical Garden.